Hey y'all, it's Bear, and today I'm here to do half summer TBR, half 5-star predictions. We're talking about horror books today. I'm just gonna show you 10 horror books that I'm excited to read, that I plan on reading from June, July, August, that I think could potentially be 5 stars. So not all of these are horror, some of them are thrillers, some of them are dark fantasy, some of them are mystery books. We just have that general spooky vibe going on. First up, I have Talk to Me, an anthology of Arctic horror stories. It's indigenous authors writing Arctic horror. This one has come so highly recommended to me on Twitter by so many different people on Twitter, not just book Twitter people, but random Twitter accounts. If so many people outside of the book sphere are telling me to read this book, then I think it's gonna be 5 stars. I think I'm gonna love it. Next up is another social media recommendation. If you can call Reddit social media, one that I've seen come up multiple times on many different posts on Reddit is The Fisherman by John Langan. It's about two men whose wives have died. So they go to kind of get away to this coastal town to go fishing. And they hear about this local legend of this man called Der Fisher, who is this dark, mysterious entity. I don't know if they're trying to bring their wives back, if they're trying to live forever, what's really going on. This one, on every single Reddit post I see, it gets mentioned, so I'm very excited to read it. Next, we have our Spooky Bitches book club pick for June, and that is The Changeling by Victor Lavelle. We haven't decided yet how exactly we're going to go about continuing the Spooky Bitches book club. We do want it to be a thing. Right now we're talking about doing Twitter discussions. We're talking about maybe starting a Discord. Let me know if you have any suggestions downstairs, if you've run a book club before, what worked for you. It is the first time I have ever read a Victor Lavelle book. I know that this is a very well-loved author. This one follows a man named Apollo whose father abandoned him and left him with this box of books and reoccurring dreams. So one day, Apollo's wife does something unspeakable, and Apollo realizes that maybe that's not his wife, so he has to go on this journey through these cemeteries and dark, enchanted forests and stuff to see if he can find his wife and child. Since it's called The Changeling, you can probably guess what the deal is. I've heard nothing but amazing things about Victor Lavelle's work. I'm also surprised because everyone talks about how thick this book is, but it's around 400 pages. That's not too long for me. Next, we have one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and that is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. This was sent to me by Saga Press and comes out August 31st, so you have time to pre-order a copy. Somehow, if you don't know, Stephen Graham Jones is my favorite author of all time. He's a Blackfeet author of horror and mystery. Everything that he's ever written that I've read has been 5 stars. So this follows a girl named Jade who is witnessing her native community. So she's witnessing all of these celebrities move in, these tourist traps, this stuff, basically gentrification, colonization, doing what it does. But Jade is obsessed with horror films and is convinced that there is going to be a slasher who is starting to stalk Indian Lake. And it's up to her to use her encyclopedic knowledge of horror films to fight back and save her community. Sounds perfect. I'm so excited. Next, we have Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi. This takes place in US-occupied Baghdad. It's following a man named Hadi who is collecting body parts of all of the dead and stitching them together to create a person because he wants the government to give them burial rights and recognize them as people. But one day, the body goes missing and people start to die, and he realizes that he has created a monster that needs the flesh of humans to survive. The back of the book says white knuckle horror and black humor, and I feel like those two things go perfectly together. I am so excited for this one. We have The Majesties by Tiffany Zhao, and I know that this one had the slightest amount of hype on Instagram. I saw a handful of people talking about it, and this one is essentially Crazy Rich Asians as a thriller. It follows a woman who is struggling to wake up from the coma after she is the only survivor of her entire family being poisoned at their family reunion. And she finds out that her sister is the one who poisoned all of them. I've also interacted with Tiffany Zhao on Instagram, just the barest amount, but she seems like such a sweet person and has been so kind every time I've ever made a post or a story about this book. Also, can we talk about this cover once again? Y'all know yellow is one of my favorite colors. I love this artsy paint scrapey thing going on with the face. I love the butterfly. This cover is gorgeous. I wish that I painted this cover. And we have Darling Rose Gold by Stephanie Roble. This was one of my most anticipated releases of 2020 and I never got around to it, unfortunately, but I just got my copy from Thrift Books in the mail for $3, so I'm very excited. This is about a girl whose mother has convinced the girl and the community and all of the doctors that her daughter is deadly ill. She is allergic to everything. She has to use a wheelchair. She has to use feeding tubes. She's constantly in the hospital for no reason. So the mother in this book is arrested for child abuse, and then 5 years later, when she gets out of jail, I believe, the daughter gets to get her revenge. Y'all know I have been looking actively for more revenge stories, more books that give off true crime vibes. I always love a pink cover. So this one is like already conceptually a perfect book for me. Like, I have a feeling that this one is going to be a perfect book. That's a bold statement. Watch that be like the worst book on this list. That's a very bold statement, but I feel moderately comfortable making it. Next, we have another pink book that I talked about in my booktube fucked up my reading video. That is We Can Only Save Ourselves by Alice in Wisdom. I picked this one up with no outside information at all. This follows a teenage girl who is like top of her class. She's like perfect high school cheerleader. And then one day she gets sucked into this cult. She follows this guy home. There's a house that they're all locked in. They're all like his wives. It's spooky and sounds like a good time. Once again, pink cover, true crime vibes, cheerleader. I feel confident in saying this will also be a perfect bear book. I'm doing something with these pink covers. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on. Book number 9 on this list is Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Basterica. This one is a horror dystopian, slightly set in the future book, where a virus infected all of the animal meat, so now humans cannot consume animal meat. In order to consume meat, they turn to cannibalism, and now there are like government regulated standards on which people can be eaten. This book I've told is fucking disgusting and will make me throw up, and I'm excited to read a horror novel that genuinely scares me. I want this to like terrify me and gross me the fuck out. So going more into the plot of this book, we follow a man named Marcos who is, I think, in charge of actually slaughtering the humans to be consumed. And one day, because he's done such a good job, he's given a live specimen. He takes the girl in, he starts to treat her like a person, and then he's like, all right, is it people, is it food? I don't know, but it's gonna make me throw up. And then finally, we have probably the most thrilling book on this list, the one I'm the most excited about, and that is this gorgeous edition of I Know What You Did Last Summer by Lois Duncan. I read in my middle school library turtlebacks, that's what these are called. So my first Lois Duncan I ever read was a turtleback, and I'm just so excited that this was like a fluke that I got in the mail from thrift books. It was supposed to be like a shitty paperback, and I got this gorgeous turtleback. This follows 4 friends who make a deal that they're going to keep a dark secret. Basically, they ended up actually murdering someone in a hit and run, and that person comes back to take revenge on them. You're probably more familiar with the Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar movie, which I feel like is hard to match. So I'm curious to see if I will love the book as much as the movie. Do I sense a book versus movie coming in the future? Maybe. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell and all that good shit while you're down there, as well as answering the comment question of the day. Comment question of the day: do you plan on reading any horror for summer? And if you do, what book are you most excited to read? And if you don't have time, you don't have the spoon, you don't care about any of the shit that I just asked you, leave me an emoji, preferably a yellow heart or a smiley face emoticon, so I know you made it all the way until the end of the video. Social media and everything else I've mentioned will be downstairs. You can click the link tree at the top of my bio to find more places to support me further, help support the channel, or follow me around the internet. Alright, I hope you have a wonderful whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you next time with another video. Thank you for watching. Okay, cool. Bye!